What's up? What's up, guys? It's one of those check. You guys hear me okay? Hey, screen printer. What's up, buddy? Welcome to my very first live. Welcome to me not knowing what the hell I'm doing. Bless Carpenter. Good to see you, man. How you doing, man? Thank you for joining with me tonight. Again, I have absolutely no idea what the hell I'm doing, but that's okay. I'm going to figure it out. We're going to have a good time. I figured I would set up out here, shoot the breeze, answer questions if you guys had any. Not like any of you guys know me. Thank you. Thank you very much, man. And I got a couple of things I'm out here putting on. I figured I'd talk to you while I was trying to figure them out. Get all the other stuff set or turned off so my attention deficit don't kick off and start making me go crazy trying to go look at other stuff. What's on your agendas this Saturday, guys? What are you up to? Obviously nothing. You're sitting around watching me, right? Is this a hobby or do I do it full time? It is a hobby. It was something that I did full time, not necessarily in this aspect, like I did it from home, but I was an employee for several companies. I would do welding. I would do home construction. I would do carpentry, general rough framing, roofing. I've been in just about every trade I can think of. Messing with the laser, absolutely. You guys check out Bless Carpenter. Make sure that you subscribe to him. He's got an amazing channel. If you guys hadn't checked him out, you should go see it. But for the most part, I did a lot of this during my younger days. I was doing steel fab for a long time, bottle openers and pick boxes. Cool. But I was a steel fabricator for a long time, Screen. And after a while, of course, time marches on and we get older and older and our bodies start getting more and more frustrated with trying to do things that they can't. So I decided I wanted to continue doing what I was doing, but at the same time, I wanted to be able to do so with something that really wasn't going to tear up my back and wear my body out. So I decided to migrate from metal to wood, and it's been a beautiful hobby ever since. I can tell you this much. It has paid some bills. It has definitely done that. And that's why one of the many reasons that I hope that I would start this channel, I'll be able to help some other people out, because I know having those skills in my back pocket was instrumental in me being able to make ends meet many, many times. And especially these days, I mean, who's going to turn away the opportunity to get those ends a little bit closer and make sure we've got all the bills paid, right? So I hope that answers your question. I did it technically as a business for a long time. It is a hobby, but it is something that is there to supplement my income when I need to. It's a good question, man. Thanks. Woodworking, I guess I should say, is really not my only forte. Ordered 100 bottle opener inserts coming in tomorrow. Oh, man. You're really going to get after it. And so you're hardcore on the lathe, huh? Wine bottle stoppers. I got a buddy, Jake Thompson. He's really big into turning. And he does a lot of really cool stuff. Actually, he streams every Saturday morning. He has a really cool show called Saturday Morning Cartoons. And he streams. He's able to do some really great things over there. Mostly with wood and resin. What kinds of projects do I make? I have been known to make just about anything that you could think of. Most of it's been woodworking related or metalworking related. A lot of the other stuff that I do is repairs, refurbishing, repurposing of items. Um, because of the work that I did in the trades, I really grabbed together a lot of skills. And when you do a hobby, you want it to challenge you, right? So I figured it's really easy to drive down to the big box and, go grab some 2x4 plywood, and slap something together. And hey, that's beautiful, right? But I thought it would be a real challenge, especially if it was going to be a hobby. Maybe I should challenge myself by taking the items that people are going to discard and turn those into something new. Um, I think, well, I know Bless Carpenter see quite a few of the photos, but like, for example, I'll take old cedar fence sections and I'll rebuild those into pieces of furniture, cabinetry, dressers. Hey, Avant-Garde, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining in. But I like to take old items. I know, listen, I realize that this is a polarizing subject. I know that there is a ton of people that live or die by the humble pallet. I will use pallet wood. I will use old furniture that's broken, rebuild that into something new. Um, Discarded construction lumber from old job sites that they're going to get up, that they're going to get rid of. Recently, we had a big windstorm. I'm really excited to see a lot of people, unfortunately, were affected by, they had their trees knocked down. They had, fences blew away. A lot of that stuff is happening, and I think I could take those items and I could put them to use and give them a new life. So I hope maybe that kind of answers the question. It's very ambiguous. I mean, I guess the easy way to say it is I'm all over the place. I'm building pretty much whatever. Another big thing that I love to do is I adore being able to build these items that I build. And one of the things that really hits my heart is the plight of those who are chronically homeless. It's a sad thing to see somebody who is, and I don't know if you're familiar with the term chronically homeless, but these people, I mean, they're in a situation where they're homeless like everyone else, but it's not as simple as some people would make it. Let's get them a meal and get them a shower, and then, they'll magically go find a job and a house and everything's great. It doesn't work that way, sadly. Some of these people have been homeless for years. They're missing a lot of their documents. They don't have an ID. They don't have a driver's license. They don't have a social security card. And a lot of them will say things like, well, how am I supposed to get a job if I can't put down an address? Or I can't give them an ID to show them who I am. Or I have no way to prove what my social security number is, right? So being able to help people who are chronically homeless, that's something that really hits with me. And for a long time, I worked with this group called Housing First. Any of you guys familiar with it? Have you heard of it before? Yes, forgive me, I vape, sorry. Housing First is this nonprofit, and they find these people that are chronically homeless, right? And they go a step further than, let me get you a pair of socks and some underwear and a toothbrush. Let's go get your documents put together. Let's get your ID situated. Let's get you an address so that you can go fill out a job application. You can go get yourself a job. And one of the things that they do is they secure housing. Now, you're good. You're good, man. One of the things they do is they secure housing for these guys, right? Hey, Caleb, how's it going, man? But in the course of getting that housing, one of the things that they struggle with all the time is that they get them an apartment, but then they're in the apartment and they may have, a blanket and a pillow in an empty apartment, and they ain't got no dishes, they ain't got no furniture, they ain't got nothing. So honestly, a big thing that I do is I cruise around and I look for stuff that's getting thrown away. I look for things that people don't need anymore. Like, I live in a college town. So every semester, these college kids will try to get rid of all of their stuff so they can move back home to mom and dad's house. Grab all of that up, recondition it, prep it up, make any repairs we got to do, and then get it out to these homeless people so that they've got some furnishings for the house. I can sit at the kitchen table. I can sit in a chair and relax at the end of the day and eat a TV dinner, whatever it is, and really try to get them back where they need to be. You know what I mean? That gets them a whole lot closer to getting back to the normal life and staying off them streets. That was a long-winded answer to your question, right? Comment section is a whole vibe. I love it. I absolutely love it. One of the other things that I want to try to accomplish with what I'm doing here is I am blessed to have grown up with people that lived for a very long time. My great grandfather, I knew him until I was 12 years old. He was born in 1897. He was born in a state that wasn't even a state. It was still a territory that they were fighting over with the United States when he was born. But what that did for me was it gave me the insight that those people that I knew when I was a kid, they grew up through stuff like the Dust Bowl, the Depression, times when things were real, real hard. I mean, people nowadays, yeah, times get hard, but it was hard. You know what I mean? And they passed on so much to me in ideas like, why in the hell would you throw something away when you know you could use that to fix something else? You could use that to make something new. And I think, I don't want to get political with what I'm saying, and I'm only going to say it this way. Times are crazy right now. I can't help but to imagine having those kind of skill sets is probably a pretty damn good thing to have in my back pocket. Yeah, I'm sure it'd be good in your back pockets too. Yeah, everything is absolutely crazy expensive. And that's another thing that I can't stand. Planned obsolescence. I did a video on my channel if you guys want to watch it. But planned obsolescence is the nemesis of my existence. I hate the idea that someone would build something with the intent for it to fail later on. That's just trash to me. That makes no sense. Why would you? Exactly, Northern. Why would you do that to people? And it all started, and I'll real quick. It started with something called the Phoebus cartel. Phoebus was a Greek god, the keeper of the light. And the Phoebus cartel was this group of CEOs that ran companies that had started building light bulbs when electricity started getting real popular in people's houses. Before that, it was candlelight and lanterns and stuff. Well, if you guys don't know, there's actually a light bulb in a firehouse in New England that has been burning for over 110 years. Light bulbs will last forever if they're built properly. But these cats all got together on the sly, and they went into a back room and said, listen, we all got to make a rule, okay? We cannot make light bulbs that last longer than 10,000 hours. Even though we're competitors, everybody agreed to this, because if we don't do it, we're going to work ourselves right out of business. And the CEO of Sylvania, General Electric, all of these other people that were making light bulbs, they got an agreement. They got in cahoots with one another to say that's what we're going to do. We're not going to build it so that it lasts any longer than 10,000 hours. Once it goes 10,000 hours, it'll burn out and they'll have to come back and buy another one from us. The minute that happened, all the other companies in the world started taking notice. Wait a minute. So you mean tell me if I build it rickety and it burns up in a couple of years, then I got another customer. They're going to come back and buy another one. Oh, shoot. All right, let's do that. And everybody jumped on this bandwagon. And it just snowballed and it got worse and worse, with IBM doing the same thing with proprietary parts, Apple doing the same thing with their iPhones. And yes, Northern, you're absolutely right. I mean, how many of you guys seen a TV where the backlight went out or the sound went out on it, and you want to go get it repaired, and it's like, man, it's cheaper, just go get another TV. Why even bother? But it's that kind of trash that I want to kill. I hate that. I can't stand that idea. So I do a lot of repairs. I do a lot of repurposing. I do my best to try to help people circumvent planned obsolescence, how to keep things going. And God forbid, if you could take something that somebody else was going to call trash and you could help another person with it, let's go. You know what I mean? You're doing great. iPhones, after Steve Jobs died, Apple got so greedy. Absolutely. Absolutely. And forgive me if I'm going off on a tangent. You guys slap me if I'm going the wrong way. But, the sad truth is, there's the Find My iPhone feature on their phones. And there was a lot of people that had their phones stolen. And they would turn around and they would turn their Find My iPhone on and try to track it where it was going. And they found out, I'm not kidding, they found out that these phones were all getting loaded in container ships, getting shipped back to Shenzhen in China to be dismantled, to have the parts taken out of them, to build another phone to sell back to you. I mean, what the hell is that, right? That's just garbage to me. I digress. Another thing I really love to do is I like making my own machinery. I like making my own tools. Yeah, $300 to make and use a refurb. Yeah, absolutely. And they hit us for what, $1,000? It's madness. So this channel, I hope, and this community will be one of the stalwarts, one of the bulwarks that helps to fight all that off, and keep people in a good spot. God forbid somebody learns how to sew, how to do leather work. My work boots have a missing stitch. I got to go take care of that this evening. So I've rambled on enough. Tell me about what you guys do. What are you guys woodworkers, metal workers, electronics, 3D printing? What are you guys into? Sorry, I got my sideways coffee over there and we're taking sips out of it every once in a while. Screen printer is a software developer. What do you do? What do you usually work on? Stack developing, apps? I got another friend. He's a really good resource to me. He does a whole lot of stuff for that. I think what are they called? The MS-32 chips and Raspberry Pis and all of those guys. Just make wood products. No, it's not just making wood products. You're making incredible things. I mean, man, don't knock it. You're doing things that honestly need to continue. I mean, how many of us go down and laugh and roll our eyes when we go to the, IKEA or the Walmart and we see that particle board crap they throw at us, covered in wood grain plastic laminate paper. Applications for companies. Okay. Did I find my new web developer to build my website? No, I'm kidding. Avant-garde, remodeling contractor and woodworker. Beautiful. Beautiful. I think remodeling is one of the scariest professions I would ever try to get into. It's because so much of it is developing that relationship with people and that kind of haggling that people do, it's I've just heard so many horror stories about remodeling people that are trying to do a decent, honest job for somebody, and then they end up running into someone shiesty, and before you know it, they're pretending, oh, that's not what I wanted at all. I'm not paying for any of this. And, poor guy gets stuck, throwing out for materials, and now he's got to walk away with nothing. That kind of stuff it's a horror story for me. That's a nightmare. See, that's what I mean. 30,000. And to me, that's a sinful shame. Why would you even do your fellow man that way? That's such an awful thing to do. And I guess I don't know. I couldn't be part of something like that. You know what I mean? I couldn't even. I feel your pain. I say it that way. man. Do me a favor, everybody. I mean, I know I only got like 8 or 9 people. That's fine. But give this a like if it's something that you think is cool. That'd be phenomenal. I'd love it. Trying to decide if this live thing is better or me doing the videos is better. If you guys have channels, if you have content of your own, please throw it in the links, man. I don't know if I've got the configuration set right, but I hope I do, that you guys can shout out yourselves, shout out each other. I think at the end of the day, it's all about us taking care of each other. Yes. Got the lie. Thanks, Caleb. Appreciate you, man. I hope I can do well for you guys. I'll show you guys what I'm working on right now. Judge if you like. But I'm going to ask you if you guys want to talk along with me. How many of you guys see somebody post up on Facebook Marketplace or something like that, and they tell you that they've got exercise equipment they want to get rid of? I got a treadmill that's in the way, and all it does is grab clothes, and somebody take it and get it out of the way, right? If you do, I think that this is really diving into one of the big niches that I'm really good at. Recently, I got a ProForm treadmill that somebody was giving away. They didn't need it anymore. They bought it for the wife. I mean, we've all heard the story. It's a New Year's resolution. I'm going to get in shape and everything. It's incredible. And then it sits in the corner and they don't do a damn thing out, right? So the husband's like, just take it and get it out of the way. I don't care. So I got the treadmill and I brought it back to the shop. And I thought I would show you, since I got it right here. I was just farting around with it. I took some components out of that treadmill. Namely, I got a capacitor here. And then there's this, which is called an MC60. It's a speed controller chip or a PCB for speed controlling a motor. This is what makes the treadmill either go faster or slower, depending on where you beep, 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 and makes the belt go faster or slower. So I grabbed this, and then I grabbed this guy. Now this guy is a 2.25 horsepower permanent magnet DC motor. This is actually what drives the belt that you run along on, right? So with the conjunction of these three items that I took out of that treadmill for absolutely free, I can build a complete variable speed machine tool for whatever application I like. With this one, I actually, if you'll see, I added some plywood to the end here with a couple of screw holes. I'm actually going to put a live center on this. I'm going to mount it to a rack, which I have done here. And I'm actually going to build myself a lathe out of completely free parts. There is so much of these kind of things that are out there. And I think a lot of people are just hesitant to try to dig into it, or they may be a little unsure about what they're looking at. Thank you, New Beginnings. Appreciate you, buddy. But at the end of the day, I think there's so much of this out there that could be utilized that nobody bothers. And funny enough, here, let me see if I can get this a little lower so you guys can see what I got. You see my son's little gasoline mini bike he rolls around on in my videos. Let's give this a try and see what we can come up with. So I got this rewired up. I also grabbed the slide potentiometer off of the treadmill. Let's see if I got this thing wired up correctly. I'm going to set it just like that. So, all right. Contact. Perfect. So see, here I am with a perfectly usable variable speed motor that I could use to do any number of shop applications with. And it was destined for the landfill. Nobody was going to do anything with it. And I mean, I can, of course, it's variable speed. So if I crank up the, I mean, as you can see, it'll really get going. Now it'll take a little bit to lose its momentum because it's got this big flywheel on here. So give that a minute. Let it slow itself down. But this is kind of one of the things I like to do. I just think this is going to sound really silly, but I'm going to tell it to y'all this way. Sometimes an inanimate object has a bit of an emotional tie to me. And what I mean by that is this. This item here was in perfectly good shape. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. It was doing exactly what it was intended to do. And for reasons completely beyond control, somebody decided arbitrarily that it's trash. And like I said, I'm probably going to get a little deep. I'm sorry, y'all. But how many of us felt that way in our life? We're over there, we're doing our thing, we're handling our business, we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing. And out of nowhere, somebody just arbitrarily decides we're trash. We ain't worth doing anything with. We're not worth anything. And you just get tossed off to the side. That throwaway society is what I intend to defeat. Because machines, furniture, people, whatever, if it's still good, it doesn't deserve to just get thrown out. Whew, I got all deep on y'all, man. I'm sorry. Whew, let me get this coffee cup. Get some of this left-handed coffee in here. Salud. If you guys feel like I'm doing something that I've earned it, I would appreciate the subscribe. I would appreciate you telling your friends about it. Have them jump in here. Let's keep this conversation going, man. This club, this community that I already see, it's amazing. It's small, but it's mighty. And I think we could do some amazing things if we just got on it. Thank you. Thank you. What's my main hobby? I would have to say most of my skill set is involved with woodworking, metalworking, electronics. I have recently dabbled into 3D printing, CNC control, that kind of thing. But if I had to say one thing that is my primary hobby, it's the rescue of things that I see getting discarded and repurposed into something else. I guess you call me a flipper or a repurposer or reclaimer or whatever, you know. I guess you guys know what I'm talking about, right? I think that a time for a channel like this is reclaiming engineer. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way to say it, Avant. That really is avant-garde. I'd like to think that in the Mad Max universe, I'd be just fine. I'd probably be that guy, you know, with grease all over his face, and you know, hold on a second, I got the part that you need. You know, I mean, that's just where I'm at. Love taking broken and non-working items and put them to use. Absolutely. And that's where it's at. And I guess the other two parts of this video, or this channel, I should say, is maybe if I can archive some of this, then God forbid it hits the fan or it goes, you know, straight up post-apocalypse or whatever the hell, and YouTube exists, well, then somebody's got a resource. They can reach out and, you know what? I remember Mike talking about, hey, wait a minute, why are we throwing that out? Why did somebody throw that out? We can reclaim something out of it. Or a little bit more close to home, I'm in my 50s now. I've got 3 sons. And it would be really cool to know that even after I'm gone, they can still come ask Dad, hey, how do I fix this? How do I do that? And they could still come back to my videos and kind of ask Dad what they want, you know? I'm a woodworking at a piddler. I love taking broken or non-working items, put use to them or fix them. Nice, with a washing machine motor. That's phenomenal. Hold on just a second. I actually got another one. I'm still trying to bounce around the idea of what I want to do with it. I got this guy right here. I think this came out of a dishwasher. It's got an impeller on it. And I think it's a universal motor. So I could run AC or DC to it. Hold on, let me read the tag on it. 3,150 RPMs, thermally protected to 135 Celsius. No, it's AC only. Okay. 110 microfarads at 250 volts AC. So I was talking with a couple of people about something similar to this. And if you shrink this down just a little bit, then you end up with something really similar called a shaded pole motor. And that comes out of, like, imagine this is one of those desktop fans, you know? And I don't see a reason in the world why you couldn't put a series of discs on here, ran some sandpaper, and you've got yourself a spindle sander out of a fan that was going to end up in the trash. It's those kind of things that I absolutely love. But yeah, I got to figure out a project for this guy. I will definitely work on trying to figure out something about building a lathe. I love those kind of challenges. More importantly, I love that I get to, even if, exactly, yes. I think even if I don't necessarily have the most immediate need for the tool, the lesson that I learn in making it is worth untold riches. And I remember specifically what got me on that frame of mind. After I got out of the steel trades and I hung up my welding hood and I came back here, I decided, man, let me get some tools together. Woodworking is a lot less weight than metal. So I guess I need a table saw. And I got myself one. But in the process of doing so, I'm pricing table saws. And, what did I come across? For those of you who are hardcore woodworkers, you'll know what I'm talking about. I ran into a Delta Unisaw. And it was big. It was a cabinet grade saw. It's got a huge fence. It's got a large table. It's wonderful. And then I looked at the price that they were asking for it, and my jaw hit the floor. I mean, they wanted almost $1,000 for this saw. And of course, that's well outside of my price point. There's just no way in hell I'm going to be able to afford that at that point. So the more I looked at it, the more I thought about how salty I was about how much it cost. You know? Exactly. I just found out all table saws ain't job site saws. Yeah. I mean, there are a big variety of them, but this was a big cabinet grade. Wow, you did a ground up resto on a Unisaw. Is that the one with the big pipe fence guide? I digress. But the more I thought about it, the more it absolutely triggered that engineering brain. And I thought to myself, what is a table saw when it's all said and done, right? It's a motor turning a saw blade in a table, in a box. And my brain could not stop thinking, why the hell is that $1,000? It's a motor, a blade in a box. Hey, John. Good to see you, man. But I thought that was so crazy to me. I mean, there's something to be said about the durability and the accuracy of a Unisaw. I'm not knocking a Unisaw, okay? I'm saying in principle, a table saw should never, oh my God, you know? Got rid of the pipe fence rails and put in a square tube. Oh, so you got one of those Biesemeyer fences or something. Okay, I got you. But I thought it was so ridiculous that those simple components would cost so much money. I mean, it just didn't make any sense. And then the more I thought about it, the more I realized you could take a circular saw and build the same thing in a box for like $100 and be done with it. Now, let me stop right there and say, with my sideways coffee, am I telling you to go build a table saw with an inverted skill saw? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Give me an absolutely not in the chat so that you understand I'm not telling you to do that. But I am telling you that people have done it. Let's just say it that way. At the end of the day, it's a motor, a blade, and a box. It is sketchy. It is skeevy as all get out. It will definitely bite you like the tiger if you're not paying attention to what you're doing. But it can be done. And that drove me to think, how many of these other machines that they charge so much money for, how many more of these could you just make you, because they're just as simple? I don't know if I guess I'll ask you guys, are you familiar with somebody named Matthias Vandel? He's a Canadian. He's had a channel for decades. I mean, forever. Let me see if my chat's going to work right. Yes. There you go. I added his name in there. This guy literally turned 2x4s and plywood into a 26-inch industrial bandsaw just because he felt like it. It's those kind of things I think are amazing. Absolutely. You know what I'm talking about, New Beginnings. He is a phenomenon. He's built Panther routers, table saws, band saws, routers, belt sanders, his jointer. He's built all of that stuff just off of pretty much things that he pulled out of the trash. I think that's amazing. I mean, forget the awe-inspiring engineering acumen that he has. But just the fact that he was able to repurpose and save all of those things from becoming just a bunch of trash, it's phenomenal. I think that's beautiful to me. And I think that that's, along with a lot of the trades, I think that that's something that is slowly becoming a thing of the past. And that's not okay with me. So that being said, I want to ask, how many of you guys watch my videos? If not, I'm not offended. I'm not even mad about it. It's fine. If you've seen my videos, that's phenomenal. If you haven't, I would encourage you to go see them. And I would like to solicit, yes, John Heiss, another one. Actually, I think they're really good friends. I'd like to get your input. What would you guys like to see me make a video about? I have no problem with making, building, repairing, whatever you guys can think of. And not necessarily about woodworking. I think my last video was about me. I had to fix my garage door because the struts up here, they had there. Look at there. I can learn how to point on the camera. These struts had been broken. And I got all of those replaced, and I got it all put together so it would roll right. Thanks, New Beginners. I appreciate it, man. The next one that I think I might be doing is a pretty long one. The only thing that might slow me down, I'm going to say this as honestly as I can. because this isn't like my, ploy to try to go get some money or something. The only thing that might slow me down is my funds. I recently had to get rid of my truck and I picked up another one. It's an old truck. It's like an '02 Silverado. Um, but it's got a lot of problems, quite a few problems actually. And I'll be doing my best to try to work through that, try to get it fixed up, even if I've got to do something like pull the motor out of it, pull the transmission out of it. I have no problems with that kind of level of work. But of course, as sure as most of you guys suffer from the same problem, it's how much money do I got sitting around that I can do that kind of thing. I think I can get another 5.3 and another 4L60 tranny for, I don't know, 1,500, $2,000, something like that. But my plan is to get that thing up and going again so that I've got another good work truck. What else do I do? Benches. Goodness, I don't know if you guys don't have a way to share pictures in the chat, do you? Now I'm interested. Nope, not a chance. I build these benches every year. Most of them are made out of 2x4 cedar with fence pickets. I'm able to put these together for about $35, $40. And I sell them every spring and every summer. And they go for $150, $175 each. They're really great. Wait, my phone's right here. Maybe I can show you guys a picture. I got you, Caleb. And as if it ain't plainly evident at this point, I'm an idiot when it comes to this streaming stuff. So thank you for being so patient with me. I'll do my best to try to figure out how to configure all of this shit and get it set the way it has to. All right. I bet you guys can hear the neighbor pulling out. Okay. Sorry, I know you're sick of just staring at my face. Share one of your YouTube links to the benches. Okay, let me be honest. I haven't made a link or I haven't made a video about the benches yet. But okay, I'll just be honest. That's kind of the ace in the hole. You know what I mean? Because that's like my bread and butter. I make a crap load of money off them benches. And when I put it out there, I'm kind of shooting my shot. You know what I mean? I'm done. So give me a second. I'll show you though. As soon as I can find the picture. Jeez, you gotta be kidding me. How far back do I have to scroll to find the picture of the bench that I make every freaking day? Here we go. I'll see if this doesn't help. All right. Can you guys see that okay? So I build these double benches with a central table in them. And I sell those all summer, all spring, and all summer long. And honestly, I've got it down to the point where I can crank one of them out in about an hour and a half. It really doesn't take long at all. Like I said, that's kind of my bread and butter. I'm going to shoot it out there eventually. Have a busy day at the shop tomorrow. Got to get up early. Gonna go live around 11 if you can stop in. Absolutely. New beginnings. Throw your link out there, man. Make sure that we got it. We'll make sure that we're there. Right, guys? We'll show them some love. But I build those benches every summer, and it's a big thing. It definitely cuts some of the bills off. I've seen it so many times that magically I'm able to cover the light bill or a car payment or something. I don't know how much you guys are invested in your shops over the weekends or whatever, but for me, I mean, I would see my wife and she'd roll her eyes. Oh, God, how many benches you got to do this week? I've got 9 waiting. Yeah, I got to get them all cranked out this weekend. But yeah, it's definitely something that helps the house out quite a bit. So you got to set the stream. I'm reading Caleb's thing again so I can make sure I understand. So you got to set the stream so we can send pics. It's a setting if that's what you're asking. Yes, I do got a lot of configuration I need to do. Also, my friends are talking to me that I need to do like a Facebook group, and I need to. Bless Carpenter will tell you my SEO and my online presence, that's my biggest downfall. I suck at it. I'm awful. Salud. So I guess I've sat here rattling my mouth for long enough. I mean, you guys tell me. I mean, you got any questions? I mean, anything crosses your mind? Something I might be able to clear up? Any advice you need? I'll do my best. Oh, I went from 8 to 6. I lost 20% of my viewers. Oh, okay. Honestly, I don't give a damn. I got 2 people watching, then that means I got my voice out to 1 person, and that was good enough. Got to get you right with AI. Your content is awesome, and I'm here for all of it. Thanks, man. Really, I really appreciate that. At the end of the day, I just want to pass on the things that I know, the things that I've picked up in the years that I've been doing this, and Lord help me. I have had enough years doing this. I wish I would have saw this earlier. Well, now you have. So the world is right now. Like I tell you, the biggest win that I had this week, and there have been some good things. I got a new truck. There was a. Oh, hold on. Oh, sorry about that. There was a raise. There was somebody got a new job. There was a lot of things I could be really thankful and blessed for here at the house. I think the biggest thing that made my heart happier than anything else was my 15-year-old son. He came home and he was talking and he said, I went to the guidance counselor. And he said, Dad, the guidance counselor was mad at me, which struck a chord. But then he said he was mad because he mentioned going to college and I laughed at it, which I thought was odd. So I asked him to elaborate, and he came back and he said, Dad, you don't understand. I drive, or I'm riding in the back while you guys are driving around town, and when I go and I see people doing concrete, or they're doing carpentry, or they're doing roofs, or they're doing any kind of work, that's the way he said it, any kind of work. He said, people are just old. And I don't think that kids are trying to do those kind of jobs anymore. They're all talking about getting on the computer or go sitting in an office or whatever. That I don't want to do that kind of stuff because I think that there's going to be so few people doing those jobs when I graduate. Those people are going to get paid a lot because there's not many of them. My boy, I love you to death. Wonderful sentiment. And he's right. It's a dying breed to see a tradesman now. And so many people are so wrapped up in high-tech jobs or administrative jobs or office jobs that the guy that will replace your toilet main is probably going to be making more than the doctor who does his checkup by the time it's all said and done. You know what I mean? Those guys are a dying breed. They're getting older and older every year, and nobody's there to pick up that torch and carry it on. Probably the union's electrician. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Blessed. Appreciate you, man. I think that, and that's another fundamental part of this channel, is that there's just so much of this that I hope I can pass on to the people that are ready to receive it. Yeah, exactly, John. You're exactly right. Man, it was such a hard day. Oh, I had to unzip 3 archives, and then I had to retype a Word document twice, you know? God forbid you had to pick up a hammer, you know, or if you even knew which end to swing. So let me ask you guys, if you guys remember, I raised it earlier in the stream. If this doesn't become a lathe, what would you turn it into? Would it be a sander? Would it be a saw? Would it be a mill? A grinder? What would you do with it? I'd like to see those juices flowing, man. What would you guys do? And I promise you, if you commit that a little bit of thought, you guys are probably going to go jump on Craigslist. You're going to look on Facebook Marketplace, and you're going to see a treadmill and go, oh, give me that. Oh, I'm coming right now. You know, you're going to lose your mind as soon as you see him, every time you see him. And you're going to go snatch him up. Unfortunately, as we get older, in the office, our bosses, that is true too. And let me say this, I don't want to sound all gloom and doom about it, but for those people that are sitting in an office and they're doing the administrative kind of work, how long is it before the AI chatbot means you don't have a job anymore? You know? How long is it before the LLM has replaced you? And to all of those who have fallen or will fall, I salute you with the left-handed coffee. Yes, sir. Cheers to you, Henry. Man, we're coming up on an hour? Shut up. I just barely even... Tell me the truth. Have I been rattling for that long? I've been a mouthpiece, haven't I? Man, I'm really sorry. It does. God, it goes fast. That is incredible. Isaiah, I'm glad you're here, man. Yes, it has been an hour. Holy crap. Isaiah is a fundamental part of the laser video for my brother, the blessed carpenter, who, okay, I'm going to take a minute. I'm a clown. I'm going to laugh at you. Love you to death, baby. But he just burned himself out this morning. He's like, hold up, I need ventilation. I'm like, man, you burning wood with the laser, man. What you think was going to happen, man? Come on. I love you to death, baby, but that was hilarious. Did you guys get set up with a CAD program? Shut up. You caught the bench on fire for real? I remember being half asleep and then Carpenter's calling me. And he's like, I got so far, but then it quit and it didn't finish burning the pattern out. And I don't even know what to do after this. Like, man, can you I don't even know what I told you, to be honest, man. I can't even remember. Where am I located? I am in West Texas. You know those videos that are out right now where the semi trucks are blowing over because of the haboob and the sandstorm and everybody's losing their minds, and there was a big 40, 50 car pile up wreck and the land hurricane. Yeah, I'm right there in that area. Way out in the plains of West Texas, not too far from the oil patch. If you watch Landman, you're pretty close to where I'm at. To put a front door and a jamb on. Ooh. Okay, so that depends on how far you're going to dig into it. Like, if you're just rehanging the existing door, sometimes that could get tricky because you've got the frame that runs around, and usually it's made out of like 1x5 or something like that. It's kind of trash junk stuff that they make nowadays. Well, let me back up. Is it an exterior door or an interior door? Oh, you're not too far. Wichita Falls, that's not bad. It's kind of like halfway between here and Dallas. Okay, so an exterior door, and we're hanging a whole new door. We've got a frame, we've got jams, we've got everything, right? We're good? I'm going to figure out a way to get that Discord thing going on that we were trying to do, Blessed. Seriously, because I think that'll help a lot. Buying that from Home Depot. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. The older the house is that you're going to put the new door in, the more this is going to be relevant. Houses are never square. Let's just say that. They're never square. They will never, ever be true to point. It will be wonky. It will be out of square all over the place. So the first thing to do is to determine the hole that you're going to be putting the door into. And once you know that door, you can make a determination as to how to proceed from there. And here's what I mean by that. The door that is pre-hung inside of a door frame is made to swing in and out with that door frame. And it depends on whether or not that door frame that it's in is square and true. Now that's not always an option. I mean, you may be putting this thing in a rhombus. It's absolute, or a parallelogram, or whatever the hell kind of hole that it's going into. It could be wonky and catawampus in any number of ways. So have you done any measuring, screen printer, on the actual hole that it's going into, or do you know anything about how far out of square, how wonky it may be? Because sometimes it just takes a little bit of shim work. Sometimes it takes repositioning or putting a new board in. But the key, I guess I should say, is you want to make sure that the hole, the orifice that you're going to put the door into, is as close to square as possible and as close to the bottom of the opening as it can be. Because I can fill in, well, here I am. Okay, this is my door. Let's call the screen my door. I can fill in this. I can fill in across here, and I could fill in this side. But this part here is the threshold. That is going to be the most important part of the whole door. If this is flush to the floor and the door closes correctly, nobody else will notice any of the rest of this trash. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, what I want to do is make sure that I can get as close down to the floor as I can so that I could set my threshold in and then square everything as close to square as possible so the door will swing free and it will do what it needs to do. And then I can patch up around the fringes of all of this and do what I have to do with shims or mud or, if I've got to do any kind of extra work in order to make sure that it stays stable that way, that's where I want to focus it on these three. The bigger that opening is, the better, because it gives you the ability to make the adjustments as you need to make them. Now, once that's done, first off, I'm going to secure myself flush to the floor down here, set the door in square so that it opens and closes freely. After that, it's a matter of looking at the gaps that I have around where the existing door was so that I can make an informed decision of where to go from there. It may be that I enter shims. It may be that I need to add new plaster. I may need to take the entire thing out and add a new header over the top of the door. But at the end of the day, the key is to get it down to the floor, get it square so that it opens and closes, and then make all of your adjustments and problem solving on the outer frame of it. I hope that helps. But that's how I would attack it. Left-handed coffee. Here's to the fucked up door screen printer got to put in. Salud. Nice. And I saw this as one of those life hacks. You know those 5-minute craft damn things that they put out there where you take the pin out of the top hinge and then you bend it with a screwdriver. Don't do that. God, don't do that. Thanks, Henry. Appreciate you coming by, man. I got to tell you guys, I really appreciate it. I did not even expect that I was going to get 5 people in. I've had 8 people listening to me jaw jack for an hour and 10 minutes. It's incredible. I don't even know what to say. I really don't. I would love to hear how I can help you guys, because you're certainly helping me. I mean, this is a good indicator that I'm doing the right thing. So that's pretty awesome. We could work on this lathe. You guys want to build a lathe with me? I don't know. It's up to you. If we are, I think the first thing we need to do is build this mount. Got a couple of flanges here. I need to maybe put some kind of a block in here that will let me bolt to my main body. And I certainly try. I really do. And believe you me, I am no authority on any of this. Most of it has been trial and error. Most of it has been making the stupid mistakes that taught me otherwise. Let me think. Okay. So I guess I'll just talk out loud so you guys can kind of get an idea of the thought process that I usually use. Okay, I need to build a block that will hold this motor up so that I can screw it to my body. The most stable material that I could possibly use to do that is probably plywood, because I don't have any steel big enough to do that. So let's grab some plywood. Hang in there just a second. Okay. Got this one. We got one more here. All right. So the reason that I say plywood, if you guys don't know, is that plywood is dimensionally stable. It's the most dimensionally stable wood you can grab. And what I mean by that is this. Shut me up if I'm telling you things that you already know. But here we go. Here's a block of wood, and I can tell you to you this way. So a block of wood, this is the Argus formerly known as tree, right? And if you look at the very end of it, and you look really close, do you see how there's holes in the end of it? That's because all of this is actually the equivalent of the blood vessels that was in the tree when it was still alive. This is how it would transport water up and down through the tree. So all of this is like a bundle of straws. Now, when you're dealing with a bundle of straws, if all the straws are going this way, it's really easy for me to put my finger through here and split apart all the straws. Going this way and trying to chop all the straws in half, that's a lot harder. So this is where they talk about going with the grain or going against the grain. Now, the thing of it is, the reason plywood is so stable is because it has a series of interlocking layers that do this. So you have some straws going this way, some straws going this way. And it does it again, layer after layer after layer. Now, because of that, this gets really stable because I can't split through these because these are in the way. And I can't split through these because these are in the way. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So that's why plywood is the most dimensionally stable that I'm going to be working with. Now with all that, let's figure out exactly how big pieces of plywood we're going to need and how many. Oh, look at this vintage beauty. I'm going to stop and I'm going to wait. Any of you guys tell me what this is? Anybody know what that is? Thank you, John. Yes, it is. So our dial caliper, this is probably one of the most accurate measuring tools that you'll have. And this thing is from like 1960. What? I digress. So I'm going to get an exact measurement of how big this block of wood needs to be. Right here. And that, my friends, is exactly the measurement I'm going to set up for cutting these. Now, I don't think I need to be doing that tonight because I've already at an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm sure you guys don't want to sit around watching me build things. I'll build that in tomorrow's video. There we go. How about that? I'll shoot the video of me building the first steps of this lathe tomorrow and put it up as a part 1. And just for you, Mr. Carpenter, Mr. Blessed, I will build as much of the lathe out of absolute trash as I possibly can. Every bit of it. The tool rest, the headstock, the footstock, every bit of it, so that you guys can turn great wood turning pieces. Treadmills. Don't ride them off, man. Seriously. I think I'm going to cut this one off because I got a feeling that, Bless Carpenter, don't you got a live coming up here pretty quick? I thought I saw you posting that you were going to come up here pretty soon. Excuse me. Guys, let me know. Did I lose you guys? Okay, yeah, sorry, I might be having technical issues. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Thanks to all of you who decided to join me tonight. I really appreciate it. Gotcha. All right. Well, maybe that's a good sign. Again, if you guys loved it, I really appreciate you guys considering whether or not I've earned a subscription. Throw a like on the video. Check out my other stuff. And I'll do my best to do this a little more often. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. See you guys.